Sandy Island appeared on maps for over a century, British Admiralty charts, French hydrographic surveys, Google Earth, NASA satellite imagery. All of them showed an island the size of Manhattan, sitting in the Coral Sea between Australia and New Caledonia. In November 2012, a scientific research vessel from the University of Sydney sailed directly to Sandy Island's coordinates. They were going to study it. The island was on every chart they had on board. They had no reason to doubt it. When the Southern Surveyor arrived at the coordinates, open ocean, no island, no reef, no shallow water. The GPS said, "You are here." The sea said, "There is nothing here." The depth sounder read 1,400 meters. Sandy Island had never existed. The island that appears on old maps but has never existed. 1876, the South Pacific. A Royal Navy survey vessel called HMS Reaper. Her mission: chart the uncharted reaches of the Coral Sea. Standard procedure. Hundreds of survey voyages like this one. Hundreds of officers recording what they observed. One officer on one day recorded an island. He wrote it down. He gave it a name. Sandy Island. It was probably a pumice raft, or a discolored patch of sea, or simply an error in a ship moving through a swell. But it was written down, and it was transferred to the chart. Here's how it happened. The officer made his log entry. Standard format. Position recorded. Observation noted. That entry was transferred to the compiled chart. The chart was published. Another cartographer, compiling another chart, copied from the published chart, without verification, without visiting the location. Why would they? It was on the official chart. From 1876 to 2012, Sandy Island was copied. From chart to chart, from survey to survey, from database to database. No one lied. No one invented anything. The error was simply perpetuated by the most professional and diligent cartographers in the world, who were copying from the most professional and diligent cartographers before them. British Admiralty, French Marine National, U.S. Navy Hydrographic Office, Google Earth, NASA, 136 years of institutional authority. All of it wrong about this one specific thing. Dr. Maria Seaton, geologist, University of Sydney. She was not looking for Sandy Island. She was doing something else entirely. A routine bathymetric survey of the Coral Sea region. Sandy Island appeared on the charts she was using, and something about it bothered her. It had no depth soundings around it. Every Ridddle island in that sea has depth soundings in surrounding water. Sandy Island had none. A cartographic island with no underwater geography. She decided to check. She went back to the chart. No depth soundings. No survey data for the approaches. No satellite imagery that actually showed topography. Just an outline. On a chart that had copied it from a chart that had copied it from a chart. She contacted the Australian Hydrographic Service. They confirmed Sandy Island had never been physically verified in 136 years. Nobody had ever actually gone there. So the Southern Surveyor set course for Sandy Island. November 2012. The Coral Sea in summer. Blue, clear, warm. The ship carrying the charts that showed the island. The GPS that confirmed they were heading there. Everything was on track, except the island. When the Southern Surveyor reached Sandy Island's GPS coordinates, nothing. Open ocean. Water. In every direction. The depth sounder. 1,400 meters. Open ocean floor. No island. No reef. One of the scientists on deck started laughing, which is a correct response. The island had never existed. And for 136 years, no official body had sent anyone to check. Dr. Seaton and her team published their findings in EOS. Transactions American Geophysical Union. They titled their paper, Obituary for a Phantom Island, which is the best title in the history of scientific paper titles. Sandy Island received an official scientific obituary for an existence it had never had. Sandy Island is not unique. There are at least 7 other documented phantom islands on official cartographic records. Podesta Island, South Atlantic, on charts for 80 years. Never real. Saxonburg Island, South Atlantic, on Admiralty charts since the 1600s. Never real. New South Greenland, Southern Ocean, on charts for over a century. Never real. Emerald Island, Southern Ocean, same. Saran Island, Pacific, same. These are not embarrassing accidents from the era before GPS. These are systematic properties of how authoritative maps are produced. Nobody checks, because nobody needs to check, because it's on the chart. Here's how a phantom island persists for a century. A cartographer is given a set of reference charts. Their job is to compile the new chart. They copy from the reference charts. Accurately, professionally, the reference charts show Sandy Island. So the new chart shows Sandy Island. The new chart becomes a reference chart for the next generation. And so it continues, not through deception, through institutional inertia. Nobody ever asks, has anyone actually been there? In 2011, Google Earth showed Sandy Island as solid ground. NASA corroborated it. The British Admiralty had it on their charts. NOAA, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, had it on theirs. Every authoritative geographic body on Earth agreed. Sandy Island was there. After the Southern surveyors' findings were published, all of them corrected their records. Within months, 136 years to get it wrong, months to fix it. The correction is not the interesting part. The 136 years is the interesting part. Dr. Seaton, when asked about the implications, she said, "We trust maps the way we trust gravity. We assume they are simply true. We do not ask who checked. We do not ask when it was last verified. We do not ask how long it has been since anyone was there. We look at the chart. The chart shows an island. There is an island. Sandy Island proved that assumption wrong. And the question she is asking, the question we should all be asking, is, what else is wrong? Here is a number, 100. 100 is the current number of registered phantom features on official nautical charts worldwide, features that have never been physically verified, in some cases for over a century. Most of them are probably errors, like Sandy Island. Some of them might be something else. Bermeja Island, Gulf of Mexico, off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. Bermeja appeared on official maps for centuries, not decades, centuries. Spanish colonial charts, French hydrographic surveys, Mexican government maps, all of them showing Bermeja Island. And then, at some point between approximately 1997 and 2001, Bermeja Island disappeared from the maps, not because anyone proved it never existed, because it stopped appearing. Here is why that matters. Under international maritime law, an island generates a territorial waters extension. Bermeja Island, if it existed, would have extended Mexico's exclusive economic zone into a specific area of the Gulf of Mexico, an area containing an estimated 4 billion barrels of oil. At prevailing prices, approximately $22 billion, the island disappeared from official Mexican maps around the same time that Mexico and the United States were formally negotiating maritime boundaries in the Gulf over those same oil deposits. In 2009, WikiLeaks released a declassified U.S. State Department diplomatic cable. The cable concerned Gulf of Mexico maritime boundary negotiations. Bermeja Island was mentioned in a security context. The cable did not explain the island's disappearance from official maps. It simply referenced it as something that was relevant to the boundary question. I will let you draw your own conclusions. I have drawn mine. Sandy Island was an accident. Bermeja Island might be something else. The difference between the two cases is Sandy Island disappeared from maps because scientists checked and corrected the error. Bermeja Island disappeared from maps before anyone checked, and the checking has not been done. No research vessel has sailed to Bermeja Island's coordinates, not since the island disappeared from the maps. We do not know if it is Sandy Island or something different, because no one has looked. Right now, somewhere in the world, a ship is navigating by a chart. The chart is authoritative. The chart is trusted. The GPS confirms a position. The navigator does not question the chart. Why would they? Charts have been reliable for centuries. Mostly, the question Sandy Island raises is not, how did this happen? We know how it happened. The question is, how many others are there? Here is a fact that should change how you feel about maps. We have better maps of Mars than we have of the ocean floor. Approximately 19% of the world's ocean floor has been directly surveyed. 81% has not. Sandy Island sat in the Coral Sea for 136 years. The Coral Sea is one of the more surveyed bodies of water in the world. In the 81% of ocean floor that has not been surveyed, there are currently 100 registered phantom features on official charts. Most have never been checked. Most never will be. Dr. Seaton, when asked what she thinks about in the years since the paper, she said, "I think about what else we have not checked, not in an alarmist way, in a scientific way. The assumption that official records are correct because they are official is not a scientific assumption. It is a social one. Science requires verification. Maps are given a pass that other evidence is not. Sandy Island is one example of what happens when the pass is extended too long. Bermeja Island might be an example of what happens when the pass is extended deliberately. We trust maps the way we trust gravity. We assume they are simply true. Sandy Island spent 136 years proving that assumption wrong. And somewhere right now, there are other sandy islands on the maps we use every day. We just have not looked for them yet. The sea does not know whether it is on a map. It does not care. It simply is. Sandy Island was never there. The sea was always there. Subscribe if you want to keep looking at the things we assume are simply true.